So, you want to build a house.
Yep.
Great. What style are you going for?
Like this.
How many bedrooms and bathrooms? Are your plans up to IRC guidelines? Do you know how much your plans cost to build per square foot? Do you have a materials list you can take to your local lumber yard per square foot?
Go!
Well, no matter where you are on your plan buying journey, we're here to help. It's important to really ruminate on how you plan to use the space inside your future home. A great starting point is how many bedrooms or bathrooms you want. You probably know how many people will be occupying the home and how well they handle sharing a bathroom. But beyond bedrooms and bathrooms, start to think about the other areas of your home. Do you want a separate dining and living space? Is a deck or a patio a non-negotiable? Do you love to spend time in the kitchen? Or maybe this tiny home is acting strictly as a studio or office of some sort. Being intentional with your plans and how they fit into your life will help you consider more realistically which plan will end up working for you.
For us personally, we've had to make do with working at a desk in the corner of the room for too long, and we're really looking forward to having a space with a dedicated office and camera equipment area one day. But we've never really been into having a dedicated dining room space, so we'll probably forego that in future plans. We'd also love to have an exercise area because we've been shoving dumbbells and kettlebells into random nooks and crannies for the past 10 years now, so enough is enough.
Yeah, our home is really tiny with zero storage space right now, so very much looking forward to having
some space.
Some space.
For stuff.
For things.
Just general things. Once you've got a rough idea of the types of areas and rooms you want in your home, you can narrow in on how large of a plan you're looking for. And of course, you'll need to think about how this all fits within your budget.
Something that we find extremely helpful is that all den plans are designed to fit within the national average budget of $223.50 per square foot. They do this by designing their builds very intentionally and without any custom materials. Den's plans can be built with standard catalog items from major manufacturers, and the cabinetry is designed to make use of readily available stuff you'd find at big retailers like IKEA. Den even lists the estimated cost to build right on the page of every design on their website.
If you're still finding it difficult to nail down the size of the home you'll need, these are some great questions to ask yourself to get your head in the right space.
How do you plan to use the space?
How many rooms do you need, and what are their uses?
What is your budget, and how many square feet can you afford?
Does this size accommodate any future plans you have for the space?
Am I being as respectful as possible to the land I plan to build on?
Does this size conform to what's permitted to be built in accordance with local zoning requirements? And to get a handle on this one, you'll want to look into local laws and regulations before purchasing a property. Look out for key phrases like minimum build size, regulations on tiny homes, and limitations on off-grid living.
Does the neighborhood, property, and additional costs like well, septic, and driveway support the size house you're choosing from an investment perspective? That last question is maybe a less obvious one, but it's important to consider. If the cost to prepare your lot includes a high purchase price for the land itself and you're putting in expensive utilities, then it's going to be a total mismatch to drop in a tiny off-grid cabin on that beautiful developed land. It's a better investment to build a larger home that will take full advantage of the utilities you plan to run. And it's always important to be willing to zoom out and consider this question. If either your property purchase or the home build itself is pushing the other side of the equation of your budget range, you might be trying to bite off more than you can afford with either your property or your home size.
Now, spending too much or too little in relation to the value of your land can put your house in a weird spot financially speaking. You could end up investing too much relative to the neighborhood, stuck unable to ever make your money back when selling, or you can invest too little in the home and end up with a structure no one's really interested in relative to the property value.
Choosing a style. Once you've got the technical details of the budget, square footage, and general layout sorted out in your head, you can move on to what we would consider the fun part. What's your home going to look like? What architectural style are you most drawn to? It's your home, so you should like the way it looks and feels. If you're committed to choosing Den for your plans, you're probably pretty into the modern, minimalist aesthetic of their builds. Their designs generally fall into these 4 styles: gable roof, flat roof, shed roof, and A-frame. But amongst those styles, they have quite a few options to choose from. If you're still having trouble deciding based on your square footage, rooms, and budget requirements, we'd recommend hopping over to Den's Instagram for some architectural eye candy to get inspired and spark your imagination. They've got a lot of good looking stuff on there.
Finding a plan with all the necessary components. Now that you've got the size and style of your structure all figured out, you're probably honing in on some specific plan ideas. This is probably a good time to reflect on the question, what makes a good building plan? If you're still deciding between Den and another plan provider, let's just shed any notion of pretending that we're unbiased and just straight up let you know why we think Den's plans are going to make your life easier throughout the building process. Den likes to take a more is more approach to building plans. The last thing a beginner wants to run into is a question that just straight up stumps them.
What are the lateral dimensions on your bond sealant beam?
You can kind of eyeball it if you can see the roof and the windows.
Did you pull the materials load for the window incisor so we can get that permit?
It should be in here somewhere.
To ensure a smooth building process, your plan should, at a minimum, include these components. Readiness for permitting approval. This means the plans have been thoughtfully and carefully engineered to meet all to most local and international building code standards. From the snowy, windy mountain peaks to the sandy soils of your favorite beach, Den plans are engineered to be completely permit approval ready. Detailed construction drawings. Keyword being detailed. Here are the elements Den recommends having in your building plans. Now, while you certainly don't have to use the exact recommendations for cabinetry, fixtures, and appliances, it's important to have a baseline that you can work off of to match your exact style preferences. Den plans make use of standard IKEA cabinets, so it's easy to figure out what your options are as you peruse your way towards your final goal, which is obviously a plate full of Swedish meatballs. And the right cabinets, of course.
But mostly meatballs.
But mostly meatballs.
Another huge benefit to Den's plans is their conformity to manufacturers' window and door standards. No money needs to be spent on cutting glass for custom windows, and it's as simple as ordering from readily available windows that match your plans. Another important component of Den builds are their inclusion of these guidelines. They're essential to getting your plans approved, and you don't want to find yourself guessing whether your Uncle Jimbo's super cheap and really great plans meet these standards.
You can build any house you want with these plans.
Uncle Jimbo.
He tries, doesn't he?
He does.
Construction notes help you during your build and give you a more detailed explanation of how your materials need to be put together. Again, the more detailed here, the better. Materials list. This is something that Den includes that is absolutely not standard across most building plans. Den's material list is comprehensive and takes all of the guesswork out of figuring out what you'll need to buy when you get your home built. You can bring one master list to any hardware store or lumber yard and get a price for everything you need to build your home, from the plywood for the roof all the way down to the door hardware. You can also use this to check contractors on their own materials estimates if you're hiring a team, which is always nice for a little extra peace of mind.
So that's it. Go forth and begin exploring what your future home might look like. Den's website gives you a wealth of information about each of their builds, as well as plenty of eye candy to drool over, which we have spent way too much time doing.
It's true.
And if you're still struggling to narrow down your plan options, you can always run through Den's 2-minute survey and set up a 15-minute meeting with a Den team member to help guide you towards the finish line. We'll link that survey down in the description below. Someone from the Den team will help you get more accurate pricing information for your area, as well as answer any lingering questions you might have about Den plans. And be sure to subscribe and like this video so you don't miss out on any future videos as we ourselves continue to learn about our options and navigate the process of buying our first home. Until then, see you next time, folks.